story of women's rights in Russia is one of struggle, determination, and progress. Over the years, Russian women have faced many challenges, but also has made great achievements in many areas such as education, politics, and society. Each period in history has had inspiring women who changed the way people think about gender roles. These courses allowed women to enter professional fields such as medicine and teaching. However, women in Russia still didn't have political or legal rights. Sofia Kovalevskaya, the first woman in the world who got a doctorate in mathematics and become a professor, symbolizes this era's progress through determination.
The 1917th revolution marked a huge change in women's rights in Russia. After it, the government introduced many important laws that gave women rights to vote, equal pay with men, and maternity leave. Women were encouraged to work, and childcare services were created to help working mothers balance their jobs and family responsibilities. Alexandra Kollontai, one of the first female ministers in government and prominent feminist, advocated for policies that liberate women from their traditional gender roles. However, despite the fact that legal rights improved, most of the change stayed theoretical rather than practical, with patriarchal norms persisting in daily life.
The Soviet Union celebrated women's achievements, particularly in fields like science, engineering, and even space exploration. Women were portrayed as symbols of the state's progress, with pioneers like Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman in space in 1963, becoming global icon. Despite this, Soviet women often bore the double burden of full-time work and domestic responsibilities. Policies like communal childcare and maternity leave were meant to ease this load, but social expectations remained rigid, leaving women to navigate both public and private demands.
The 1990s brought dramatic political and economical changes, with many women's rights activists began to address issues like domestic violence, workplace inequality, and political representation. However, transition to a market economy also created a lot of setbacks, with many women losing their jobs or being pushed into lower-paying sectors. Galina Starovoitova, a leading politician and human rights advocate, emerged as a key figure during this time, fighting for democracy and a woman's empowerment. Today, the absence of systematic protections highlights the ongoing challenges, such as lack of effective policies to combat gender-based violence.
Women in Russia today are still pushing for equality and safety. Activities are advocating for comprehensive laws addressing domestic violence, workplace harassment, and gender discrimination. Figures like Svetlana Alexievich, a Nobel-winning author, continue to inspire with a focus on the resilience of women through history. The fight for women's rights in Russia remains a significant and ongoing struggle. In a country with such a rich history of women's achievements, there is still no basic law protecting women from violence in their own homes.
Anastasia, a 23-year-old woman from the Sverdlovsk region, was murdered by her partner after indirect months of abuse. Despite her attempts to seek help, including calling the police, authorities failed to intervene in time. Her body was found in a nearby forest, and the case highlighted the lack of protective measure for victims of domestic violence. Yulia, a 29-year-old woman from Moscow, was severely beaten by her partner in 2020. She was left with multiple injuries but survived the attack. Her partner had a history of violence, but Yulia had no legal protection due to the absence of laws specifically targeting domestic violence. The case sparked public outrage over the lack of support for women in similar situations. Oksana, a 34-year-old mother of two, was killed by her partner in 2021. She had previously experienced violence in her relationship, but her attempts to leave were unsuccessful. After an argument, her partner fatally stabbed her and her children witnessed the crime. The case gained attention due to the high-profile nature of the attack and the family's ongoing struggle with domestic violence.
Domestic violence remains a serious issue in Russia, with numerous cases highlighting the need for stronger protection for women. Despite the growing number of victims, the country continues to lack specific law targeting domestic abuse. The stories of Anastasia, Oksana, and Yulia are just a few examples of the many women who have suffered at the hands of their abusers, often with little support from authorities. These cases underscore the need for urgent legal reform and greater societal awareness to protect women from the violence in their own homes. Without such change, many more women will continue to face life-threatening situations without proper legal safeguards.